free people from free countries get to travel as free people to other free countries. It's the end of the world as we know it, and Nancy Pelosi feels fine. Details at 11. Hey, everybody, I'm Steve Green with Bill Whittle and Scott Ott, and this is Right Angle, brought to you by the members of BillWhittle.com. And gentlemen, as I'm sure you know, over the last few days, and it's breaking news today as we tape this on Tuesday, Nancy Pelosi, the Democratic Speaker of the House, has been on this sort of whirlwind tour of East Asia, and her stop on Tuesday night local time was her military plane landed in Taiwan, the airport there outside of Taipei, I believe. And the communist government on mainland China is just furious about this, releasing all kinds of nasty threats. They mobilized. China sent out communist China sent out both their aircraft carriers. They sent I don't even know how many Su-35 fighter planes to the demarcation line there above the Taiwan Strait between the Republic of China and the People's Republic of China. We got to assume they're submarines. We had a aircraft carrier there and two of our amphibious assault ships. So there's just a lot of stuff going on, including, I forgot this, to tell you how serious the U.S. military is taking this. The Air Force sent no fewer than 20 KC-135 tankers to Japan to refuel jets if we got into a scrap with communist China. This is all about one lady visiting China's so-called breakaway province. Bill, I know we want to speculate a bit on the motives for Pelosi's trip and the timing and all of that, but I'd also like you to talk maybe a little bit about the risks of this sort of collision of great military power in a very small area.
It's my considered opinion as a student of military history that Nancy Pelosi going to Taiwan has significantly lowered the chance of us going to war with China. Significantly lowered it. Other breaking news as we record this is that it's apparently 2.5 inches of snow in hell, because I never thought that I would ever live long enough to say myself in a position where I admired something that Nancy Pelosi did. But I do admire this, and I think it's long overdue. Long overdue. You mentioned that they had their carriers in the area, and they had their
sortied
their
both
jets
of them,
in the air. Yeah, their carriers are garbage, and so are their jets. And this is the kind of thing that we should have been doing, I don't know, once every major U.S. holiday. We should be sending a major top official to Taiwan. And I think next time we do it, I think we ought to have them escorted in by some of our own carriers, which are not garbage. This sounds belligerent and saber rattling and jingoistic, and that's how I want it to sound. The idea that China can prevent us from going to the free country of Taiwan is laughable. And the idea that we would acquiesce to this policy is dangerous.
Yes. Very
dangerous. The Chinese are having an absolute conniption about this, and this conniption fit should have happened a long time ago and should be happening on a regular basis. And if it did, there wouldn't be any conniption fits. One of the things that drives war, Steve, in fact, the single greatest cause of war is misreading your opponent's intentions. That's always the cause of the war. That's why the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, because they were quite convinced that we would simply say, well, I guess that's over with. We'll just stay here in San Diego and you can have the Pacific. That's what they actually thought. Well, that didn't work out that way for them. So the more that we talk about China being our partner, China being our friend, and the one China policy and all the rest of it, the more likely we are to convince mainland China that if they decide to make this play for Taiwan and invade it, then we'll issue a strongly worded letter, and as we did with Ukraine, and that'll be the end of it. Now, for those of you who think that I've got no business getting America involved in war between the Straits of Taiwan, I would respond respectfully by saying no. This is our current geopolitical enemy who is doing everything in its power to destroy this country from within and without. and that this is the kind of thing that is necessary to prevent conflict. And if it leads to conflict, I'd rather have the conflict now than later. They are a rogue nation, Steve. Their fishing fleets are in the home waters of every country on the planet that borders the ocean. They are absolutely, on every level, completely divorced from international standards. As a matter of fact, just a couple of days ago, we had this enormous Chinese rocket booster re-enter the atmosphere in an uncontrolled re-entry, and the Chinese refused to share the orbital data on it. They just refused. This is something that all civilized nations do in order to mitigate risk. They are not good people. The Chinese people are fine people. I have no problem with the Chinese people, but the Chinese Communist Party is a gangster operation. And so if they want to threaten us with landing the the Speaker of the House in Taiwan, I say we go back again next week. And I say we go back again next week in international waters, and we go with the big stick, and we don't say a word.
Freedom of the seas, baby. It's a trade that's kept us rich since our founding, believe it or not. Scott, I want to talk about a little bit of the psychology of the.
By the way, Steve, not just us. Yeah. It hasn't just kept us rich; it's kept the world rich. Yeah. Right? The United States patrol of the oceans of the world, following right on the heels of Great Britain doing it for the previous century or two, has allowed the world to become unbelievably prosperous simply because there is, in fact, a policeman out there on the oceans of the world, and that policeman's the United States Navy. And the president said, well, the Navy, I don't think the military thinks it's a good idea. The people in the military who don't think it's a good idea are the people who are convinced that the number one goal of the military is to combat global warming, and the number one threat to this country is not enough inclusivity in the military. Those people may be scared, but I guarantee you the sub-skippers and the destroyer skippers and the carrier skippers are not the slightest bit worried about this Chinese saber dance.
It was a Los Angeles attack sub. I think it was it was the USS Dallas, I'm pretty sure. The one featured in a bunch of Clancy books whose motto was "First in harm's way." And if you ask me, that ought to be the motto for the entire Navy. It's just beautiful. So thank you, United States Navy, once again. I
think the Sprue. I was on board USS Sprue, and it's Arleigh Burke class destroyer. And from memory, I'm not 100% sure of this, but I'm pretty sure that ship's motto is "Begin the attack."
Oh, beautiful.
Let's send DDG 111 out there and see what they have to say.
Nice. Scott, I want to talk a little bit about the psychology of the Communist Party of mainland China. They did a lot of bluff and bluster, and more than that, when I say they sortied both of their carriers, I mean they were in port until a couple of days ago. They just rushed them out in a big show of force. They put what looked like an invasion force of amphibious tank after amphibious tank after amphibious tank on the coast right across from Taiwan. What else did they do? Oh, they were firing off missiles. They got missile batteries lining the coast. It was just a huge show of force. All of this diplomatic bluster and bluff. But in the end, they couldn't stop one old lady from landing in an airport this far away from their own country. Why would they take that risk?
Well, I just think it's good every once in a while to let President Jinping, whose pronoun, by the way, is she, that we should let him know that, or she know. Anyway, that anytime we want, an American geezer chick in a pink pantsuit can step off an airplane in Taiwan with full freedom of travel. And I'm with Bill on this. I don't see it as a provocative move, but it's more like just saying, look, this is you're not the boss of me. You don't own this. You can't control this. And keep making stuff for our teenagers and 20-year-olds to buy. Get back to work and stop wasting your money on those military weaponry which is never going to be deployed. I think that President Biden probably got on the phone with Xi Jinping and said, look, first of all, technically California is just a protectorate of the United States. So I don't think you really have to worry too much. It's not like a
If
full.
the Chinese invade California, it will become slightly less communist.
That's right. And
Nice.
and she's just 1 out of 435. I mean, it's not like she's the empress of the United States. No, I think that I'm with Bill on saying that Speaker Pelosi did the right thing. I think that anytime a member of Congress wants to go over and talk to our allies over there, as long as they're not blowing too much of their junket budget, that they should be able to do that, and we should not be intimidated. I'm glad she didn't back down. I'm glad she didn't, because there was a lot of pressure in the last couple of days from the panicky media saying, "Oh, well, what if this starts World War III?"
From the Biden White House.
I'm like, if this starts World War III, it's better that we start it now than after China has spent another $1 trillion on armaments and equipping people. But in any case, Speaker Pelosi, congratulations. Good move. I'm sure her security detail is substantially beefed up from what it normally is, and that they're going to do a good job in protecting her over there. And I don't have any fear at all that this is going to start World War III.
Yeah, now I don't actually know what Nancy Pelosi's motives were for going to Taiwan. Maybe it was to
It was
to boost her stock portfolio. Who knows? I wouldn't be surprised if there was something, little schemy and underhanded about the whole thing.
Smells like tuna to me.
That said, free people from free countries get to travel as free people to other free countries. That's the world we fought very hard to build, and it's the world I hope we fight very hard to defend. And the thing to remember is, whether you believe in the one China policy or not, there's only one legitimate Chinese government, and it's located on Taiwan because the Chinese people who live there get to freely elect their own government, and that is what makes it legitimate. The mainland government, it's a communist thugocracy, no legitimacy whatsoever, and we don't let those people tell us where we can and cannot go. To the people of Taiwan, thank you for standing so strong. It warmed my heart to see you guys get your planes and your ships out there and perform and execute with just precision in the handoff between our Air Force escort jets and your Air Force escort jets to get that plane to land safely. Bravo. Well done. I'm glad that American government officials are visiting your free country. I'm just sorry we didn't send our best. Maybe we'll do better next time. And that is your right angle on that, brought to you by the members of BillWhittle.com. Hey, quick reminder, I meant to say this at the beginning of the show. To get stuff like this, we need your support. So if you can get the thumbs up, the notification button, the 5-star, any of that would be great. If you want to become a supporter, we'd love that even more. Go to BillWhittle.com, hit join, or make a one-time donation. Whatever you can give would really help us out. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.